Hi, this is Kim with www.embody-light.com, and I do readings, hypnotherapy, energy healing, sound healing, Reiki, all kinds of different things. Twin flames, Akashic records we can work on. Just visit my website at www.embody-light.com. So today's video is in response to a viewer question. Somebody had written and asked, what happens if, when you cross over, somebody has preceded you in death, or it's actually life, more than on this planet. If somebody preceded you, what if they've already incarnated into another life? And I've wondered about this myself many times. One thing I'm going to mention before I forget is there is a book by Jane Roberts called Oversoul 7 that it's a long book, and it'll answer some of these questions. It's pretty accurate. So, basically, the answer is, if somebody has already come into another life, yes, you will get to see them. The higher aspect, the oversoul, which is what they talk about in this Oversoul 7, will send out some aspect of that individual you're looking for, your relative or whatever, even if they're in another lifetime. However, it's not quite the same, and I'm going to explain why. And I've got my notes I took this morning. So when we cross over, when we die, first of all, let me preference this by saying there used to be some individuals that would go into a false light. Now, I will leave that video linked here. And they didn't have much time in between lifetimes. They could be sent right back into a similar or worse situation. However, if you crossed over into the light, you did not come right back into a life. You were helped with healing and understanding all the issues that happened in this lifetime. And what you have to understand is there's like different layers of the other side or heaven and understanding. So you've got your lower layer. I'm just going to put it into three: lower, mid, or high. In your highest form of expression, you're going to be connected with your oversoul. You could be a 9th dimensional being, 12th dimensional being, or maybe even higher. And that oversoul has got an accumulation of all those lifetimes and that higher energy. They will send a part of themselves out to connect with you. And so it's not quite the same, because what they're telling me is, because once you've crossed over, I got to go back to this part. You know, you might be in the lower level, coming into understanding, doing the healing, you're getting your life review, coming into understanding. And then you go to a possible, I don't think everybody does this. I think some people just go right into the upper dimensions. And then possibly you go to the middle portion and then the higher portion. So as you say, it is 3 layers. As you go through all 3 of these layers, your vibration and your frequency is going to speed up. So by the time you've done all this and you're connected with your higher self, and that personality aspect is back in another life, they told me to make this analogy, like say you connect with that higher self, and that being at such a high frequency, it would be the equivalent of asking somebody who's maybe 30, 40 years old to explain something that happened in kindergarten and to hold them accountable for that. Well, that 30, 40-year-old is going to have to think back, okay, what was that? What was going on? Why did I do that? Blah, 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 blah. They've moved on and grown, same as they would have on the spiritual side. The anger, resentment, the guilt, the shame, the trauma are only things we hold on to over here. We may have a memory of it when we first get there, but that slowly is peeled away. So, let me see what else my guides told me here. More often than not, the deceased, the person you're wanting to connect with, is going to wait for you to cross over, especially if there's things you need to take care of before they would incarnate. And some whole families come in like with a group purpose, like say Could be something like bringing light to alcoholism. You're going to have a couple people in that family that are going to experience it so the other people can see it, decide what they want or don't want. And then those people that are experiencing it, that's part of their contract, I guess you could say, to go through that and come out of it on the other side. So could be child abuse, could be many, many things. So in those cases, typically, what my guides tell me is the whole family unit waits to reconnect until they start reincarnating. And being it's usually 100 years with our lifespan here before incarnation, most likely you're going to connect with that other person. Let's see. Sometimes, one other thing I wanted to mention, glad I looked at my notes, because I've encountered this. Say someone who is here, who's left behind on the earth plane, they may have a connection with their deceased loved ones. Not everybody does, but you may dream of them. You may feel them around. You may smell their perfume. All kinds of little signs that I've done in other videos. And all of a sudden it stops. It seems like they're not around. Well, for me, I'm going to tell you when my best friend Jay died, that did happen for a while because I was relying too much on him for answers. I had to learn for myself. So that happened. So that could be one reason. But the other reason, the reason I even brought this up was you could have someone on the other side who say they know you're coming in 20 years, which is nothing to them. They may pop in for another short life until that they're back home from when you cross over. For a life lesson, to help somebody out, whatever the situation was. So then when that person is living in another life, another body, it's more difficult for the person or the medium to connect with them over here. So it's kind of the same thing. You can get information, but it's not that same kind of information you would get if you were talking to that one individual aspect of personality, because they're just not connected to it. They've moved so far beyond it and done whatever they had to do to, correct the karma, whatever the situation was. So, what else? So I have wondered about this many times. I've thought about that on my own, like when I cross over, will my parents be there? Because I have some questions, specifically for my mother. I want to know, why didn't you protect me? How could you not know what was going on? I have a lot of questions. I know she was traumatized, but so was I, and nothing got by me. I have to find out for myself why. And if my mom had already reincarnated into another body, I would not be able to get that understanding and insight. So specifically, my guides told me that my mother will wait for me. And actually, I don't think my mother has to come back here anymore. I was also told that. She might choose to sometime, but it's not a karmic thing. Now about my dad, I don't know that I really want to see him. Because, yes, I want understanding, but there just is no explanation that's reasonable of why those things happened. So, one of the things that I found a little interesting while I was doing this, so I don't know if my dad will wait or not. I'm not sure. It's going to depend if, I'm just hearing from my guides right now, if at that time I need information that's going to help me on my journey, and if he needs information to help him on his. Now, he, well, I don't know if you'd say unfortunately, he will go to, because there is another Earth-like planet that people who did not make it this time will go to. I believe that's where he's going, and I don't know if there will be a wait time where I get to see him or not. I'm not that connected to it. One of the things they told me was because my father has tried to kill me in other lifetimes too. I remember. But one of the things they told me was that my father came from the line of Cain, uh, which is a dark line, satanic, reptilian, Luciferian, and my mother's from the line of, I think they said Adam, and she is of the light. So the two energies really didn't match. Whatever reason they decided to get together. Besides, they did have past life business together. And actually, in one of those lives, both my brother and I were their children, and my father killed all three of us. So, was this a karmic thing for him that he had to, since he destroyed three lives, that he had to make it right again? I'm thinking it was part that, but he didn't. He failed. So he's going to have to go through another 26,000 year cycle, the way my understanding is. So when he gets there, so when I get there, if I want questions and he's already crossed over to this other planet, I'm going to be talking to a being who really doesn't have the full grasp or concept of what happened because he's so advanced and so far removed from it. And to tell you the truth, I know it's different when we cross over. I think that's going to piss me off quite a bit because I want to know why. So maybe in that case, he will wait for me. I don't want some lofty spirit answer. Well, this was to benefit the planet. I don't know. But then again, I will be different. I won't be hanging on to the trauma of it like I still do now, because there are days that I still relive that. So, that being said, yes, you will get to connect with them. They will wait for you if it's important. If they do not, you can connect with their oversoul, but it's not quite the same. So I hope that answered the question. I love you all. Have a blessed day. Leave other video ideas or questions or comments in the comment section. Running out of ideas of what you guys want to hear. I've got a few ideas coming up I'll be recording. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye. Oh, website www.embody-light.com. And check out the videos that I've linked in here because they have something to do with what we're talking about. Bye-bye.